What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the CU04 YouTube channel, where Carlisle United come away with another 1-0 away win, this time down at Brackley Town. It's finished Carlisle United 1, Brackley 0. Over 400 Cumbrians down there tonight in that away end. So, I mean, first of all, fantastic support as always, and safe travels to any Carlisle fans making that journey back up on a Wednesday night. For me, it was just on his own. You're working in the school, unfortunately, really kills Wednesday night away games, especially being that far down the country. But overall, probably glad I watched it on telly, because it was a very, very missable game from Carlisle United. It was a very poor game. But again, Carlisle win. So at the end of the day, you're not fussed about the performance, really, because you've come away with 3 points away from home. But I don't think we can go away from the fact that Carlisle have been very poor in the last few games. And it's funny I say that, because we're 7 games in, 4 wins, 2 draws, and only the 1 defeat. We sit third in the table, and yet I'm slightly disappointed with some of the performances so far. I thought in this game, really, it was a very National League game. It was an uninspiring performance from both teams. There was 2 key moments for Carlisle: that ball from Ellis, the touch, and the finish from Linney. But overall, it was a really missable 90 minutes. There was a few half chances, a couple of decent crosses into the box, but no real talking points of anything. And if you haven't watched the game and this is your source of information about the game, it probably sounds quite half-arsed, but it's not. It's just there wasn't a lot of talking point in the game. And again, I'll keep saying it, a genuinely poor performance from both sides tonight. And I think, this is just my opinion, of course, but I think that when I say it's a very National League game, I think it's like what happens is teams sit back thinking Carlisle United, a big club, they've got decent players on the books. We're going to sit back, sort of feel them out early on, see what Carlisle are going to offer into the game, what how Carlisle are going to set up in the game, probably expecting quite a relentless push from Carlisle in the game. But then I think teams start to notice that Carlisle aren't actually up to too much. We're lacking creativity. We lack creativity in the midfield, but I think we're struggling to get up to speed with the National League, the really small, compact pitches. And I think teams notice that quite early on. And then they're like, you know what, we can actually play here. We can actually get on top of Carlisle. We can attack. We can have chances in this game. And as I said at the start, it's awkward because we won, so it shouldn't really be a problem. But I don't think we haven't really played any big hitters yet. We haven't played York, we haven't played a Rochdale, Forest Green, Hartlepool, teams like that. I mean, if we play like that against Rochdale, in the form Rochdale are in, we'll be in trouble. As I say, it does feel awkward because we've won the game, and you should be happy with that, going into third position in the league and everything like that. But I just feel like we need to be seeing our games better than we did today. We need to be just overall dominating games more. You don't expect every game to be like the Braintree game, of course. I said in my review that Braintree are one of the worst teams I've ever seen at Brunton Park, and I stand by that. But we should be dominating games with the team that we've got, with the budget we've got in this division. And I know the National League's tough, but I really do think we're struggling to get up to speed. You look at the away games, we didn't blow Woking away in the first game. We struggled in that game. Obviously, we won 2-0, one of them being a free kick. So if you take away a brilliant moment in the free kick, again, it was a tight 1-0 performance. Wellstone, again, small tight pitch, a 1-0 away win, just seeing the game out after scoring the goal. Bournemouth at home, even if you look at home, Bournemouth were 3-1 up before we're 2 goals. Solihull looked brilliant up at Brunton Park because we made them look good. Solihull at the bottom of the table. It shouldn't be happening. I think we lack a bit of creativity. Hopefully, Alex Gillyhead is that person who's going to come in and give us some creativity. If not, we do have the transfer window if the right person is available. Don't go and sign someone for the sake of signing them. You want somebody who has the ability, who can come in and offer us some creativity. Yeah, I feel like I'm ranting a little bit, but yeah, I was just disappointed with Carl's performance over the last couple of games. The starting 11s, Hughes, and don't get me wrong, please don't misread this in me saying that you shouldn't rotate. Of course you should rotate. Saturday, Monday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday games. Absolutely need to rotate players around. But does Hughes know what his best 11 is? I feel like some weeks we play certain players, like Luamba, for example, and then they just go missing. Now, Luamba could be injured for all I know. I have no idea because we don't get told about injuries anymore. Feeney, I believe Feeney's out injured, and of course he came on in the Braintree game, and then, Feeney's hasn't been seen since, probably very needed in the defence as well at the moment. But we seem to be changing one or two players a game, so it's not like mass rotation, but I feel like if you're a player, you want that consistency of knowing that you're one of the first names on the team sheet. And of course, you got to prove that, don't get me wrong. Absolutely, you have to prove yourself. You have to put the effort in training. But the likes of, say, Callum Whelan, just off the top of my head, he's just interchanging in and out with Harvey McAdam, each and other game and stuff. And you're like, that affects the team because the consistency is not there. Your spine of the team isn't there. If you look at the spine of the team at the moment, it's Gabe Breeze, Thomas, Ellison and Linney. It's not the strongest spine of the team, is it? Especially when that gets chopped and changed. And that's not a criticism of any one of them players in Pacific. I'm just meaning you're guessing who's in the team, and I would imagine the players are probably guessing as well. Am I going to get a look in this week? And again, of course, you've got to put that effort in the training pitch. But there's just an inconsistency with the team, which I think affects the players a little bit. And you may be seeing that in the performances. You maybe not. I thought Brackley Town were all right tonight. They were stubborn. Carlisle had a lot of the possession, but didn't really create a lot with that possession. It's great to have possession, but if you don't do anything with it, then what's the point of having it? You know what I mean? You could have 90% possession in the game, and the team with 10% could score a corner, and you get beat 1-0. So, but no, I thought Carlisle looked okay at times. I thought Brackley was stubborn. Brackley, they did what they needed to do in the game. They shut Carlisle out. They overcrowded the box defensively. As soon as Linney got on the ball, there's two men rushing out on him. He's not allowed that space and time. I thought when Luke Armstrong came on, he offered that, he just runs for everything, doesn't he? We didn't have that in the first sort of 70 minutes or so. But yeah, Carlisle had a lot of possession, didn't do a lot with it. Looking at the team lineup, Gilead came straight into the side. Georgie Kelly started in the first half. There's not a lot to talk about in the game. I think I've ranted for a little bit there, but into the actual game, there was some patient play for Carlisle. I just thought early on in the game, mainly in the first half, we were just looking to take that extra touch. We were taking the extra pass. Linney on the edge of the box had an opportunity. He just looked for the extra pass to Wern. Wern had an opportunity, and he just took the extra touch where you think just hit it. And yeah, I just thought we just didn't have that urgency in front of goal early on in the game, and we were giving the ball away quite easily. In the game, I thought Thomas, the one that stuck out to me specifically, he's meant to switch the ball and he's just played it right across the ground for the Brackley play just to nick it away and get on sort of a bit of a counter-attack, and Brackley didn't really do much with that, but we were giving the ball away too easily. In the first half, where both teams were just testing each other out, no real chance in the game, minus the Kelly opportunity, which I'll get into in a minute. But yeah, it was like a feeling out process in that first half, and then there was a good run from Stephen Wern, to be fair. Again, something that I think Wern does well. He splits the midfield and the defence, and the big gap opens up for somebody else to run into. But Wern just continued that run. He's smart on the ball. He's got decent dribbling skills, Stephen Wern. I think he's good as that number 10 just behind the striker. I've no idea what formation we were playing tonight, by the way. I'm not really sure who was playing where, to be honest, but Wern looked good. He's played the ball into Georgie Kelly, and I mean, what a save from the goalkeeper. Brilliant effort from Georgie Kelly, which, to be fair, probably goes in 7 out of 10 times, but the goalkeeper made a fantastic save from that good move from Wern and Kelly there. And I mean, really, for the rest of the first half, my notes are really just there was a decent opportunity from Kelly, a few decent half chances for Kelly. Sorry, but I say decent chances, few half chances for Kelly. Never really troubled the goalkeeper. There was a decent couple of crosses from Brackley, but again, Carlisle were organised to be able to clear them, and vice versa as well. When Harper and Davis were getting the ball in, Brackley were very organised at the back, and they were able to clear the ball with no real problems. To be fair to them, into the second half, I mean, when you're talking about the referee potentially being able to play an advantage, the game hasn't been fantastic, but Kelly was fouled just inside our own half. Ellis has picked the ball up, and it looks like, I think it was Linney that was away on the wing. The referees blew very quickly for the Kelly foul. It was a foul, but you've got an advantage there, maybe. I mean, I think this, I've refereed a few games myself, not obviously to the standard of the National League, but a late whistle sometimes is better than a quick whistle, because Ellis could pick that ball over to Linney and we could be through on goal. But it didn't go that way. The referee blew up for the free kick very, very quickly. But when that's one of the highlights, I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it, really, about the game? But I thought Brackley started the second half quite well. They looked like they were getting on top of Carlisle. There was a good opportunity from Scott Pollock, and the goalkeeper Breeze had to turn it behind. And then in the 60th minute, it really should have been 1-0 to Brackley. I thought that the cross comes in, the defender heads it back, the player heads it back across the box, and there's a man in the middle. I'm not sure it's been given as a foul. I'm not sure what for, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway, I guess. But the man in the middle should be getting his head on it to make it 1-0 to Brackley. I thought anyway, I think it was offside in the end, so it wouldn't have mattered, but Brackley should have been doing better there. And again, that's an example when we play like the Rochdale, the Yorks, etc., they probably score them opportunities. But then the moment of magic, I mean, it was a brilliant goal from Carlisle, taking nothing away from it. I know I've been quite negative in this review, but it was a brilliant ball from Jack Ellis, over the top, and it's a fantastic first touch from Linney. He just opens his body up and then plays it across the face of the box into the corner of the net to make it 1-0 to Carlisle. No, it was a fantastic bit of play from Carlisle. I can be as negative all I want, but I'll be absolutely praising things like that. Brilliant ball from Jack Ellis. He's been a different player this season. He's been fantastic, Jack Ellis. I mean, as soon as you realised it was Regan Linney, you knew it was probably going to be 1-0. But the brilliant touch from Linney, as I say, great finish into that corner of the net to make it 1-0 to Carlisle United. And then you just looked and you thought, right, 10 minutes, just hold out. Nothing silly here, nothing like the weekend. And we did held out, and there was nothing really to talk about, to be fair, in the last 10 minutes of it. It's a consistent theme of the game, not a lot to talk about, but there was a weak shout for a penalty from Brackley. The players went down very dramatically, and there's nothing in there whatsoever. And then you got about 5 people, arms in the air, wailing at the referee, and then some decent play from Davis, beats 2-3 players, to be fair to him. Some good footwork, gets it into the corner, probably doesn't keep it into the corner flag as long as he would have liked, but it didn't matter in the end. Carlisle held out for a 1-0 win, another away performance from Carlisle United, another 3 points, and although I've been a little bit negative in the game, we come into National League third after that victory, and something that's good about the quick turnaround, and I thought this was the case for Sutton. Obviously, we played Sutton on Saturday, we got beat. We've come out here on Wednesday, we've got a victory. Not the most promising victory, a very tight game, but now we have the opportunity to build on this again on Saturday against Truro, up at Brunton Park, and then I'm not actually sure who's after the Truro game, but you just because of the National League, the fixtures come that fast. Like, it was 7 games. The season only started a month ago. We're 7 games in, but because the games come this fast, you can build on things very, very quickly. The bank holiday weekend, for example, 1-0 away win, 5-0 at home. What a fantastic weekend! That was in the space of 3 days, 2 days, whatever it was. Get beat at the weekend by Sutton, great. We have an opportunity to put it right against Brackley. Wasn't the best performance. We picked up the 3 points, which is the most important thing. And now we have an opportunity to take on Truro, and hopefully, if we could put 2 or 3 past Truro at the weekend, it's a good week for Carlisle. That's what I like about the National League. You have the opportunity to very quickly turn things around. But yeah, overall, the performance from Carlisle tonight, I don't think we were at our best, but a 1-0 away victory with a clean sheet. Could be worse, couldn't it, I guess? But yeah, I thought we were poor, but we take the 3 points back to Cumbria and we sit very nicely in 3rd position. What are your thoughts on the game? Let me know in the comments down below. Have I maybe went a bit off there with a rant? let me know in the comments down below. But I've been CUL4. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.